Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to go ahead and talk about this guy right here. It's called the U-Clips. So the inventor's name is Elliot, and he created this thing because he wanted to be able to work out at home, and he didn't have that many resources. So he had some adjustable dumbbells, and I think maybe some kettlebells or something, but he ended up creating the U-Clip. And it didn't look like this at first, but I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I will say go check out his website, take a look at the transformation, because this guy takes feedback and he actually revises the product, and I think he did a pretty good job. So the product itself is made out of steel. You have a soft UHMW liner inside. The screws themselves are recessed, and then you have a nut keeping these D-rings basically attached. The D-rings themselves do have a 250-pound weight capacity. I went ahead and tested it. I tested it in probably the dumbest way, but it's the most brutal way to test it. I took it and I hooked it up to my Prime single stack, and I only had it on one D-ring. I put a lat pull-down bar in there, and I just pulled on it at 250 pounds. And I didn't really pull much because 250 pounds is ouch. I felt like my arms were gonna come out, but I did complete the test. So when I completed the test, I found out something interesting. The D-rings were actually loose. So I have the tools to go and fix this, which I did. You basically need like a 90-degree screwdriver because you don't have much room in between here. And then you obviously need a ratchet with a socket. So I fixed it and tightened everything up, and it works really well. So that's one thing I want to point out. You know, I had the tools to fix it, but if you guys are really cranking on this thing, you might be able to loosen them up. But again, I had the tools, so not a big deal for me. The biggest reason why I ended up buying this piece is because I'm an idiot and I went through a purging phase of my gym and I dumped my loading pin. And then my girlfriend ended up buying me a rack-mounted wrist roller. And I was like, oh, I don't have any way to load this thing except for using the paracord with the carabiner. And I really didn't like that because the carabiner is kind of rough. And every time you slide it back and forth, if you're not super careful, it could fray the paracord. So something like this was actually perfect for me. I have a full dumbbell set, 5 to 75, so I figured I can just, basically throw a dumbbell in here, load it up, and it's an easy way for me to basically do my wrist roller exercises. Keep in mind, I only bought one, so when you see this B-roll, it's only gonna be one. It's only gonna be this guy, and I'm gonna go and test it for you guys, but I'm not gonna show anything where I'm doing like a barbell press because it would look stupid. I have 45 on one side, I have a U-clip on the other with a dumbbell, and it would just look dumb. Now, let's go and chit-chat about the versatility when it comes to this bad boy. Now, right off the bat, you can slide this thing onto a barbell, and before you do that, you can insert a dumbbell in there, slide it on the barbell, and it works. So if you guys have adjustable dumbbells, if it's power blocks, they don't work. At least the U series power blocks don't work. If you don't have any weight on it, it works fine. Now, if you throw any weight on it at all, it will not work. So keep that in mind, but if you have a fixed dumbbell set, chances are it works fine. I did not see anywhere on the website of what the maximum dimensions are when it comes to being inside for a dumbbell or whatever, kettlebell. So what I did is I took a straight edge ruler and I took my caliper, I dropped it down, and then the caliper itself said 1.630. The actual ruler was around 0.080 inches, and then there is a gap because obviously a straight edge on something that's round is going to leave a gap. I basically just took 0.200 inches and I subtracted, so 1.430 inches is kind of what I found to be roughly the maximum amount that you can put in here when it comes to the diameter. Keep in mind when it comes to a kettlebell, it's actually curved. I didn't really think about that. I measured the kettlebell handle, it looked fine. I went and threw it on here, put a 50 on here, or 53, and then I went to slide it on my barbell. It got stuck. And I was first not understanding why. It took me a while to realize because the kettlebell has that little bit of a curve to it, it wasn't sitting perfectly flat, and therefore the dimensions of the kettlebell handle really didn't matter. because it was sticking up way further than that 1.430 inches. So I do want to point that out. I didn't see it anywhere on the website, but I did want to test it. I wanted to measure it to give you guys an exact dimension when it comes to what is the maximum diameter that you can put in here. All right, guys, continuing on. You can take this U-clip, and if you have pinpipe safeties in your power rack, you can actually take this and put it in upside down. Make sure it's upside down, because otherwise if you do it like this, you got your barbell here and it's going to rub back and forth on the pinpipe safety and mess up your barbell. So if you put this thing in upside down on a pinpipe safety, or if you don't have a pinpipe safety, you can throw a barbell in there and throw some weights on there in case you're doing something explosive. It might fly out of your J-cups. But you put it in upside down, you slide your barbell through, and then you put your clip on there. And now you can actually do landmine exercises. You can't really do anything rotational wise because there's not enough play in here to rotate, but you can do anything straight up and down. So you can do your shoulder press, you can do a Viking press, you can even go and do something like a hack squat. So moving on, belt squats. Ugh. Honestly, I don't like it when it comes to doing landmine belt squats. The reason why is, for me, I just have really bad hip mobility, and squatting way down there in order to be able to put this thing on, and then standing up with all of that weight, I didn't like it. So I have a Rhino belt squat, and I can easily do 245s on each side, no problem. I couldn't even stand up with the 345s, but I had it super, super low, and honestly, I couldn't get good range of motion unless I had it that low. So guys, the way you do belt squats using this thing is you have your carabiner on here, you hook it up to your belt, and then I keep doing stuff backwards. So you actually take this U-clip, you put it on the barbell first, that's where the big pain in the butt is, and then you squat down, and then you connect it with the carabiners. But now you're way down there, and then you have to stand up. So without a kickstand, I don't feel like it works that well. Yes, you can do them, but it's not super efficient in my world, so I don't really consider this something that I would use it for. But you can also use this to do weighted dips or weighted pull-ups. I didn't do any weighted dips because my shoulders are garbage, but I did do some weighted pull-ups, and it feels pretty good. So it's simple. All you got to do is hook this to one side of a carabiner, go over, you can put the dumbbell or the kettlebell on a bench, and then you just grab onto it, and then you waddle your butt over to the pull-up bar or the dip bar, and you can do your exercises. Put the dumbbell between your legs, kettlebell, whatever, so it doesn't hit you in the crotch, and you can do your exercises. It works really good for that. The other thing that this claims you can do is you can sit there and use it with your favorite D handles. Now, D handles, anytime you connect D handles to anything, it kind of reduces your range of motion. And this is the exact same. So if you connect your D handles on here, your range of motion is pretty much gone. So the only way to get your range of motion back is you got to stand on some 45s or some aerobic steps, whatever you got laying around, something that's stable enough that you feel secure, and then you can do your rows with a better range of motion. I think I covered everything. I'm not 100% sure. There is a lot of versatility when it comes to this, and somebody with a better imagination than I have can probably think up a lot more things to do. But I think I covered the basics. I mentioned the price, $39.99, 20% off right now, which is on sale. I think it's a good deal. You literally just be able to need to do maybe 2 exercises when it comes to this thing. So if you don't actually want a landmine and you want to do something like a Viking press or shoulder press, works really good for that. And if you wanted to do something like weighted pull-ups or weighted dips, it works really well for that. Or if you wanted to use this basically kind of like a loading pin, and instead of having a weight plate, you can use a dumbbell. It works great for that as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you guys did, make sure you guys hit that like button. Otherwise, the YouTube algorithm doesn't care about me. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop a comment. And if you guys have not already, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future content. Otherwise, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Take care.